The sun bled orange as it fell behind the hills of Ile-Ife. Shadows lengthened and the market quieted, but the sound of drums throbbed through the evening air. At the village square, men, women, and children gathered beneath the Iroko tree where the Babalawo, master of Ifa, spread his opele chain across the dust. His chants rose, ancient and trembling. Orisha, open the path. Ifa, reveal the hidden. Let us know the cause of our famine, the weight that bends the earth. The chain rattled like bones. The Babalawo's eyes clouded with visions, his lips quivered. And when he finally spoke, his words fell heavy as iron. Omo Oduduwa, hear. The balance between heaven and earth is breaking. A widow walks among us. Not a mere woman, but the widow of the gods. If she is not taken in marriage, famine shall consume your children, rivers shall wither, and Ile-Ife shall turn to dust. But he who marries her will carry both curse and crown. He shall walk in sorrow, loved by spirits, hated by fate. Thus speaks Ifa. The crowd gasped. Some spat into the dust to ward off evil. Others clutched their beads and muttered, Anything ba orisha shaire, ofiaye re sheakanse. He who plays with the gods wages his life. All knew who the Babalawo spoke of, Oshunfemi, the widow of the gods. She had been wife to Ogun, master of iron. But flames devoured him in his forge. She had been wife to Sango, king of thunder. But lightning hurled him down. She had been wife to Urunmila, keeper of wisdom. But death came to him at dawn without reason. 3 husbands, 3 deaths, yet her beauty remained unmarked, her body radiant like river water at noon. Men whispered, She is no woman, but sorrow made flesh. Ajekunlapo, she who devours husbands in silence. And yet, Ifa demanded she be wed. The opele chain fell once more, and the Babalawo's finger stabbed toward a young man at the edge of the crowd. Adegun, son of a yam farmer. It is you, the Babalawo declared. Adegun, son of soil. You are chosen. The crowd turned as one, eyes wide. Adegun staggered, chest hollow. He was no warrior, no king's son, only a farmer's child with hands calloused from tilling yam. Why me? He cried. I am not strong. I am not rich. Why must I marry the widow of the gods? The Babalawo's voice shook with the weight of prophecy. Because destiny is not given to the mighty, but to the marked. You alone carry Olodumare's seal. Refuse, and your people will die. That night, Adegun sat under the palm tree by his father's hut, tears burning his eyes. He gazed at the stars and prayed, Why must my life be tied to sorrow? Why must I marry her? But the stars gave no answer, only silence. At dawn, drums called the village. They gathered beneath the ancient Iroko tree where Osunfemi sat veiled in white. Her presence bent the air. Her beauty was like lightning caged in a gourd. Too bright, too sorrowful. Spirits shimmered around her like mist, shadows of her husbands. Adegun was led forward. His knees quaked. The widow's voice came low, haunting. Adegun, son of soil, do you fear me? I do, he whispered. Then you are wise, she answered, for For men who did not fear me now sleep in shadow. You ask why you must wed me? Because the balance has broken. I am the vessel of the gods' grief. Without me, earth withers. With me, you inherit their curse. Choose. The people's eyes pierced him. Hungry children, weary mothers, fathers clutching dry hose. His heart thundered with pity. I will marry you, he said. Gasps rippled. Some women wailed, others prayed. One elder muttered, "The boy has dug his grave." But to take her hand, he had to prove himself through the trials of her dead husbands. The first was the trial of iron. In Ogu's forge lay the god's hammer, heavier than mountains, burning with eternal fire. Men had died trying to lift it. Adegu approached. He did not wrestle against it. Instead, he bowed low. Ogun, Lord of the Path, Eater of Dogs, Master of War, I lift not against you, but with you. He pressed his palms. To the crowd's astonishment, the hammer rose, weightless in his hands. The spirit of Ogun bowed and vanished. Next came the trial of thunder. On the stormy hilltop, lightning ripped the skies. He was commanded to stand as thunderstones fell. Fear ignored him, but he lifted his voice in Oriki. Sango, Kiniun, Obato Injoko Loriara, King of Fire, I praise you. I do not resist your storm. I honor it. The sky calmed. A single thunderbolt struck at his feet, leaving a glowing stone. He lifted it unburnt. The spirit of Sango roared with laughter and faded. Last came the trial of wisdom. In Ifa's grove, a voice asked, "What dies but is never buried? What sleeps but never wakes?" Adegun pondered till his eyes rose to the horizon. "The sun," he said. The chain rattled. The spirit of Oromila smiled and dissolved. Thus, he won the hand of the widow. Drums shook the land. Palm wine spilled, yet unease shadowed the wedding feast. Women whispered, "Will he survive the night?" In the bridal hut, her veil fell. Her beauty pierced him like a blade. "Why do you not shrink from me?" she asked. "Because I see not your curse, but your grief," he said. "You are vessel of sorrow, not devourer of men. I will bear it with you." For the first time in centuries, she wept. And that night, no husband died. But peace was short. Goats birthed stillborns. Palm trees bled like wounded men. Rivers whispered secrets. One night, Adegun awoke to see her glowing faintly. Her body half spirit, half flesh. Shadows of her husbands clung. Release her or perish. Adegun cried, "Why must I suffer this? Why must I marry the widow of the gods?" She answered, "Because the gods did not die by my hand, but by men's forgetfulness. Worship has ceased. Pride consumed them. Neglect consumed men. I carry their fall. To wed me is to mend the bond between heaven and earth." Determined, Adegun sought a path to Orun, the realm of the gods. Guided by an old hunter, he crossed forests alive with spirits, rivers where water deities rose shimmering, mountains that spoke in riddles. In the forest of masks, the Egungun spirits encircled him. One hissed, "Sss," Turn back, mortal. This path devours men. I will not turn, Adegun said, for my people starve, my wife weeps, and the bond must be mended. Moved, the spirits parted. At last, he stood before Olodumare's throne. Why must I marry the widow of the gods? He pleaded. The Supreme One's voice rolled like thunder. Because only love can heal what pride has broken. The gods fell because men forgot them, and because they themselves drowned in arrogance. Only a mortal's heart, willing to bear grief without seeking glory, can bridge heaven and earth. You marry not a woman, but the forgotten covenant.
Adegun returned, heart aflame. He built altars, revived festivals, taught songs of praise. The people poured libations once more, drums thundered, and slowly the shadows faded from his wife's body. But one demand remained, the final sacrifice. On the day of the great festival, Adegun stood with her before the people. I choose this fate, he said. If death is the price, so be it. My love is greater than fear. He lifted the thunderstone. Lightning struck. The people screamed, but instead of death, light poured from him. The gods themselves bowed. He lived, crowned in their blessing. From that day, she was no longer Ajekun Lapo, devourer of men, but Iya Agba, great mother. Adegun and Oshofemi ruled long, teaching, marriage is not desire alone, but sacrifice. To wed sorrow is to find strength. To love the widow of the gods is to love all creation. And thus, the riddle was answered. Why must I marry the widow of the gods? Because only in embracing sorrow with love can balance be restored between heaven and earth.